What a privilege it is to know death at a time when you're fully conscious and able to truly comprehend all that it entails. To have no fear of it, of him. To know freedom that comes when that fear has been erased. Taste it, feel it, know it. My name is Jack Ryan Greener. November 29th, 2018, I was paralyzed from the neck down in a jiu-jitsu accident. When it occurred, the first thought that came to mind was, I'm gonna be okay. And then the second thought was, oh shit, I can't move.
He had traumatic dislocation of the C4-5 region, and that's as bad as it can get.
They put me in what's called traction. They drill into the side of your head, and then they use weight to relieve pressure off the spinal column.
Hey guys, I cracked 2 vertebrae. I have a severed artery on my left side in the back of my neck. Pretty fucked up right now.
So everything had been going fine up to that point. Suddenly Jack started screaming he was gonna die, ran into the room, checked on him, knew he was having a stroke.
My nurse at the time, Justin, happened to just be across the hall, and he came rushing in, and honestly, if he had not been there, I would have for sure been completely dead.
Went through a full neuro examination, as I always would. Saw that he wasn't moving, he wasn't responding, he wasn't opening his eyes. Absolutely terrifying. So at that point, it's when we called the docs, get the whole team on board, and rushed him down to the OR.
12 hours after the accident, I suffered multiple strokes from clots passing through my brain, and at that point, they weren't sure if I was going to make it through the night.
The outlook of a stroke like the one you're suffering is most of the time not a good one. It's one of the most catastrophic and possibly lethal strokes that any human being can suffer.
They operated for 9 hours, and at one point, one of the surgeons came out around 2:30, 3 a.m., and my mom was in the waiting room at the time, and my mom was like, you know, is he gonna be okay? Like, what's going on?
I had to share with the parents that the situation had changed for the worst at that particular moment, and that the life of their son was at risk, and that any minute at that point counted, and we had to go try to attempt to save his life. After the stroke, I was intubated because I couldn't breathe on my own. So with that, I had no voice. And so for the first week or so, I had to use my eyes on an alphabet board to tell people what I wanted or didn't want. And it was pretty gnarly just even talking about it right now.
Hey guys, I don't know what day it is. I can talk, and I finally had ice today, which is the most amazing thing in the world. And hopefully tomorrow I'll be eating more ice.
Your body is completely thrown out of equilibrium, right? So I was going through hallucinations, my temperature was spiking and dropping, I was shitting myself, peeing myself, all loss of privacy, right?
I was able to see over the course of the next 2.5 weeks just the perseverance and relentlessness that Jack had, and it gave me a lot of hope that he was going to make a strong recovery.
Anterior approach, we went through the front and we scraped out and removed all the damaged disc between C4 and C5 vertebrae. We put a cage in to allow fusion to occur between C4 and C5 and stabilize that with plates and screws across C4 and C5.
So there was some form of hope for movement, but to what degree and where was a complete toss-up. Your body is stuck in an ice block, right? And you don't know what parts of that ice block are going to de-thaw at what time. And parts of that ice block may never de-thaw. The lead up to me getting my first flicker of movement back, for about 3 nights prior, I had been telling my nurse at the time, I was like, hey, for whatever reason, I think my left big toe is moving, my left big toe is moving. She's like, you've been saying that for the past however many nights, we'll see. And she walked down to the edge of the bed and my left big toe was moving up and down. Basically, the way I called my toe coming back, I called the rest of my recovery verbatim. I tell my dad, I'm like, hey, I think my left thumb is going to come back in the next hour. And lo and behold, we get a flicker of the left thumb, right?
Just got my thumb back. How did you do that? Been working on that for days.
After going through a bunch of tests, ensuring that I was stable, making sure my fusion was good, I flew to Inglewood, Colorado, where I began my rehab journey at Craig Hospital.
Hey guys, I made it to Denver. I got a nifty chair. I don't check DMs that often, but I appreciate all the support. I'll be walking soon. Yeah.
My doctor at Craig Hospital, he came to me in private one day and kind of just in a very low tone, just whisper conversation. He's like, I know you say you're gonna do what you think you're gonna do, but the best thing you can do every single day is envision those signals going down to each and every muscle fiber, each and every body part. And he's like, I can't guarantee you anything, but this is now your full-time job. At 23, I was a toddler again, right? I was 6 months old and having to relearn how to crawl, essentially. I spent the next 4 months there relearning everything, quite literally everything. I'm gonna get out of it soon.
Nice.
Those first few steps, while impressive to everyone around me, to me, they were just the beginning. I just knew I had bigger goals ahead.
So at Craig Hospital, there's what's called the Bridge to Independence, right? I turned to my dad in the wheelchair and I looked at him and I was like, I'm gonna walk across that bridge before we leave, and I swear it. And he's like, okay, kind of just looked at me a little crazy, side-eyed. And I would sit out there on occasion when it was warm enough in front of that bridge, and I would just visualize me walking across that bridge long before I could even move even parts of my legs.
And then it was actually on the 1-year anniversary of his accident. He reached out to myself and a couple other nurses, and we reconnected and talked about the Mount Whitney hike.
Mount Whitney was a goal prior to my accident. I had it in my head after summiting San Gorgonio on a whim, being like, the next logical step is Mount Whitney. I will never run. I will never swim in the traditional sense again. Why not go for the tallest peak in the lower 48, right? From that point on, so began the journey that is Paralyzed to Peaks. So we made it to the desert, to our desert pods, and tomorrow we start our approach to Mount Whitney.
It's been almost 3 years now. I'm not nervous right now. I'll be nervous when we're riding up to the trail. But we have all day, and we have 5 days total, so it's completely doable. I have no doubt we can hit the summit. My goal is just to enjoy this as much as possible. I'm detached from the outcome now. Like, I was really attached to the outcome last year. The outcome to me is like, just enjoy this as much as possible and have as much fun as possible. So we'll make it happen. It just it'll happen. There's no doubt in my mind. It's just good signs after good signs. So.
Spirits are high. There'll be some ups and downs, but we've got kind of everybody to lean on each other for support, so looking forward to it. It's gonna be exciting.
That first day started with a pretty flat incline through the forest, and I think we were a little late.
Feeling good. Just coming straight to 10,000, so it's nice. Day one, we're cruising. Let's see this interview after a couple hours, and then yeah, we'll see how I'm feeling.
It was super rocky. Took my first falls that day. Falls are gonna happen. When they do, just pick yourself up, dust off, and keep trudging along. We got up past Chicken Spring Lake, right? And that next section was about 4.5, 5 miles of like deep sand. Sand for me is a nightmare, and there was no water. We got into the tree line about like 8:30 at night.
And we got about 2 more miles left to get to where we're camping, and the sun beat us. So
purely based on what I'm seeing here, the signs, and my Garmin, nothing is accurate. So
like literally, I would be dead if these guys were not figuring this out.
God, where are we?
Ended up sending the guys probably another 3 miles up. I took another really bad fall, like in the pitch black. And I remember going on the walkie-talkie and being like, we're calling this, like the day's over, we're done. Went to bed that night, and I think Sam and Alex got harassed by a bear. If it wasn't a bear, it was a mountain lion. If it was as big as I said it was. No one really slept that night, and by that time, I think all of us really hadn't slept more than 3.5, 4 hours in 2 days. If you don't have sleep and you don't have calories in you, you're gonna be absolutely fucking miserable. You know, things started to get a little tense towards the end of day one. Second day, everyone was exhausted. There was a bit of an edge to everyone. We go half a mile, and that was where we were supposed to camp the first night. 10:30 last night, trying to find the lake that's over here, Lower Soldier Lake. And we thought it was straight, so we hiked an extra mile or 2. And
both ways.
Both ways. That second day, my right leg didn't work. I felt like I was hiking on one leg. It was just like, all right, this right leg doesn't work. Like, let's just hope the left one keeps it up for right now. You know, we were so low on sleep, we were so low on calories, we were so low on water even. I knew going into that, I was gonna probably be fucked on the second day, unfortunately. I realized, I was like, all right, we're 14, 15 miles into the backcountry. The only way out is to either finish the hike or get helicoptered out. Like there wasn't plan B.
me, it was a little hard. Jack was struggling a little bit, so he had to pass over his bag to me. So I actually had my carry-on on my back, and then I had his bag on my front. Carried it for about 3 miles.
I remember I sat down and I was just like, fuck, like in my head. And I recognized that I was in a low point, and you know, Cole famously put me in Cole's corner. We cried together.
It was a tough day. Today was a tough day. It's almost nice. I feel like we kind of checked that off. Had some good conversations around camp tonight. So yeah, now I feel like we're kind of stepping into the core stretch of this thing. Yesterday was a warm-up, and today was kind of like us figuring out how to play, and tomorrow we're going to be cooking.
Jack's been doing pretty well, but you definitely could see him wearing down throughout the day as time went on. Took a few spills. Last night was tough, but we're looking good. Just looking forward to tomorrow, so early start.
Day 2 was my lowest of low points. But it did get gnarlier.
3:45 a.m. It's gonna be a long day, so we're making food and making our way to Guitar Lake.
Day 3, I want to say it was like 10 miles. We're just navigating by our headlamp bubbles, right? And I actually took a really bad fall before we even started.
Everybody take some deep breaths up here.
We knew we were going over a really big pass, and we knew it was a lot of vert that day, and I just had it in my head. I was like, it's time to rage, right? It's time to rage. First section of the trail, I think literally half a mile up, I busted my entire hand open, and I busted my entire knee open and cut my pants open. And I think we have some photos of me that Alex took where I was just like bleeding everywhere, and I was just like, Justin's wrapping me up. I'm like smiling like a fucking maniac. I was just like, all right, now we're trying again. Like, we drew blood, like this is good. I was like, throw some dirt in it, let's just keep going. Get chills thinking about it. I was raging. Like, I was in such a deep flow state. It felt like running. I got to the top and I was like, that's fucking it, right? And like, I think we all just like yelled and screamed like, fuck. I had it in my head. I was like, literally no one can break me. There's nothing this mountain's gonna throw at me at this point because I'm making it to the summit. We stopped at this like rocky outcropping, and we got like our first glimpse of like the backside of Whitney. That's when my nose decided to just become a fountain of blood. So that was fun. My hands are bandaged up, and like now I'm bleeding out of my face. I'm like, this is great. And then I started to slow down a bit, and I remember I was like, I want to get into the lake. I took probably like 45 minutes to myself of just being like, all the anxiety on day 3 and all the like the worry and like what ifs just disappeared.
It's all so breathtaking, dude.
It was just like, we're gonna make this fucking happen. There's no doubt in my mind.
It's cold. It's just past 1:45 a.m. Summit day. Gonna be a big day. I'm currently getting some food ready, breaking down the tents, getting ready to go. It's gonna be an amazing day.
summit day, getting ready to hit the trail, fueling up, and we're gonna get after it. So I'm gonna rage.
We're going up 2,000, 3,000 feet of vert over boulders and switchbacks, and I think everyone's gonna probably learn a little bit about themselves in this really dark period of the morning. It was 2:30 a.m. and yeah, we set out into the darkness. We had a saying, right? We took it from Courtney Dowalter, the famous ultra runner. Take your pickaxe out and make your pain cave bigger, right? Every movement of my trekking pole was a swing of the pickaxe. And I was just like slowly making, one, my pain cave bigger, but slowly chopping this mountain down, right? But it just kept going. No matter how high you felt you were, you still weren't there. For years, almost 2 years, like I visualized and meditated on getting to Trail Junction. And I remember when that moment happened, I was like, I've meditated on this for so long.
Just do.
Words can't do it justice.
Just fucking grind it. That was the longest 2K vert I've ever done.
We got to Trail Junction, I tagged the Trail Junction sign, and I remember turning to Justin and being like, we can dump our packs, like we're going to the summit today. He's like, yeah, we are. By this time, the sun's coming up over the Sierras and like, it's absolutely breathtaking.
Let's go, Jack.
And you're at 13,000 feet, so naturally it does take your breath away. We all stopped and Justin looks at me, he's like, hey, like, I know you're in it right now, but like, take a moment to like, enjoy this. I looked at him and then I looked around, I was like, whew, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. Next thing you know, you're coming up and you see the hut, literally right there. Starting to cry a bit. I kept saying to myself, just stay focused, like believe, stay focused, believe, stay focused, believe. Yeah, and then, you know, you're 100 feet from the summit. I summited this mountain for the kids broken by circumstance. Because that was me, November 29th, 2018. But taking that circumstance and saying, you know what, this is what it is. I'm gonna go summit my own mountain. And that mountain could be anything you want it to be. Don't let the circumstances, don't let the brokenness define who you are and define your legacy.
Mom.
Yeah.
Hey, guess where I'm at?
Where?
We're at the top of Mount Whitney.
Oh my God, you did it, honey. That's fantastic.
Paralyzed to Peaks is not just about a paralyzed guy going on to summit a mountain. Paralyzed to Peaks is looking in the face of fear and the paralysis that fear brings and saying, no, I have a peak, I have a mission, I have an Everest, and I'm gonna go summit that Everest, I'm gonna go summit that peak. I'm gonna beat the odds, regardless of your situation. That's what Paralyzed to Peaks is.